Yo, we back like we never left, but that's just because we never left. So what up, people? Um, yeah, this one's a little different. So I ain't even gonna talk too much. We're gonna just get right into it. So July 25th, 2010, a lot of lives was changed that day, especially one, which was my good friend Marcus, right? So before we start off we're not gonna start off at the day. I'm gonna bring y'all back like probably 10 years when I first met my man Mark. So so we met through my brother-in-law P. So my brother-in-law was cool with Mark, his brother, and they little crew from way back since they was young. They from the north side. They from over there where my mom's had ended up moving to over there by Lamartine and Ravine and all that. So that's how I met all of them. But me and Mark end up just clicking, you know what I'm saying? Even though we was completely two different people, cause like Mark wasn't really from the street like that, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't no lame or nothing. I'm just saying he was more like a working dude. He liked to party, you know what I'm saying? He was always chasing girls and shit. Like he was into like fast cars and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Racing cars and all that. We used to go race quarter miles and shit. I never did none of that shit until I started rocking with Mark. So that's the reason I clicked with him like crazy, because he showed me like a whole different side that I never really, I was, stuck on that corner, like that's all I knew was that corner, bro. It's crazy, but it's true. And I know a lot of us was like that, just stuck on that corner, bro. If it wasn't about no street shit or no money shit, then I didn't want nothing to do with it, you know? So like I said, messing around with my nigga Mark, he showed me a lot of shit that I wasn't, he had a lot of white friends. So I started going around a couple white folks and shit. Like I never did that before, you know what I'm saying? So it was really cool, man, to chill with Mark. I don't know why he clicked with me. You gotta ask him that, but we definitely did, to this day, So with that being said, let's fast forward 10 years later, which is 2010. So this day, it was the day before, so it was the 24th. This day, Mark had called me because he was going out that night. He was going to do some function or something. So he like, yo, what's up? Pull up, come with me. So I'm like, nah, I'm fronting. I'm fronting really because this is the same time that I'm stuck in that Jezebel relationship. So a lot of shit that I used to do kind of like just stopped for me, or really like life just changed for me in those 5 years, like I was telling you. So this is around this time, So I'm fronting and shit like, nah, but really because I don't want to deal with the headache that comes with going out. I got to come back and fight. It's, just crazy. So I'm fronting and shit. I'm like, nah, I'm good, bro. So he like, come on, son. He asking me a few times. So he like, I'm gonna just call you later, man. When I'm ready, I'll call you. And if you change your mind, I'll come scoop you. So I'm like, all right, call me later. So he calls me later. It's like 9, 10 o'clock. I know why he calling me. He calling me to come scoop me, but I didn't answer the call. And I that right there, I regret that shit to this day. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of guilt behind that missed call, But I'll probably get to that a little later too. So, like I said, I missed his call. So he was calling me to see if I was coming. So if I was gonna go to the party or to that event or whatever they was doing, because he was down with a motorcycle club. So, they used to ride their bikes and they used to have mad events and shit. So, if I was gonna come, he would have pulled the car out. If I wasn't, then he was going dolo. He'll pull the bike out. So since I didn't answer the call, obviously he pulled out the bike and he went to the event by himself. So the night is going, whatever. It's time to go now. It's probably, I don't know for sure, but it's probably like 2 in the morning, some shit like that. So everybody's dipping, leaving the event. So from what I know, they all riding out in Yonkers. A bunch of the bike club dudes they riding down Yonkers Ave to jump on the highway to go back down either to Harlem or to the Bronx or whatever. So Mark says that he was riding with them, but he was only going to ride until they got to like the entrance of the highway. Then he was going to turn back around and dip home or whatever, right? So boom. So down in Yonkers, there's a street called Yonkers Ave. And then there's another one called Nepperhan Ave. And they meet. Where they meet, the street kind of like splits. You know what I mean? So if you taking Yonkers Ave, you split to the right. And then, so once you split to the right, there's like this ill curve, right? So this curve right here is like, it's a killer curve, bro. No bullshit. My man, I know he be watching my joints. My man Sean, back in the days, he had opened up a tattoo shop on Yonkers Ave, and the shit just so happened to be right on that curve, right? And I was there every day. I damn near worked in that tattoo shop. So, bro, leave in the comments, my nigga, if you watch this joint, how many accidents we seen on that curve, yo? I don't know what it was, yo. It didn't even have to rain. It could have been like just misty, and a car was gonna lose control, bro. And right on that curve, and that's where they was riding the bikes right past that curve, right? So they going down Yonkers Ave. They get to where the shit splits. They take Yonkers Ave, and Mark was ahead a little bit. So once you take that little curve, you kind of, if you behind him, you can't see the person no more until you get to the curve, and then boom, now you can see him again. So he hit that curve, and then the other bikers came around and they didn't see him. They didn't see Mark nowhere. So they obviously bugging out. Eventually they look and they see the motorcycle all the way at the gas station. Just like, I don't know if the bike was mangled, but it was at the gas station. But Mark was nowhere to be found. So they spin around, they looking for him. They find Mark mangled, stuck, wedged in between 2 railings. The railings, that's where the shit splits at. Wedged, this is a big dude, son. This nigga 6 something, 2 something, 200 something pounds, big ass dude. And he was like pretzeled into this little guardrail joint, wedged in that shit. Of course, they thought I'm sure they thought he was dead, you know what I'm saying? Because he was just lifeless. It was so crazy that the news actually reported him dead, you know what I'm saying? So whatever, the ambulance comes, shit crazy. Everybody thinking he's dead, he didn't make it. So I get a phone call early that morning. It's Marcus' brother. So he like, yo, son, yo, you heard what happened to Mark? So I'm like, nah, what happened? He like, yo, he had a bad motorcycle accident. So I'm like, the fuck at it? So now I jump up, I'm bugging. So, and I'm right away, I'm thinking, I should have picked up that fucking call, you know what I'm saying? I felt right there, I never felt the same as far as that goes, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah. So I'm like, yo, what's up? He good though? And his brother's like, nah, man, he ain't good. They talking about he ain't gonna make it and shit. So I'm bugging. Of course, I'm crying and shit. So I get dressed, man, quick, and I shoot over to the hospital. I think he was in Jacoby in the Bronx. So I dip over there. Couple people there. I got there before damn near everybody. So I'm trying to get back there where he at, and I think his brother was like, "Yeah, nah, they not letting nobody back there and shit." So I'm like a little hysterical and shit. Um, so I pushed my way back there and shit, which I regret that too, cause once I got back there, um, you know what I seen, that shit was not pretty. That shit fucking stuck in my memory to this day. You know what I'm saying? I seen my man, but I didn't even recognize him. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, nah, that can't. That's not Mark. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely not Mark. But yeah, it was him. You know what I'm saying? He was in real bad shape, man. So 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 my son ended up getting having severe brain trauma, and he broke so many bones like you can't even count. Um, he broke both his arms, his leg, and when I say broke, I don't mean like a little. He shattered his shits. His shits was mangled. You know, it was just a hard time for everybody, as you could imagine. And they wasn't sure if he would wake up, and then if he was gonna wake up, they wasn't sure if he was gonna be himself. It was just bad times. So eventually, as time goes on, they start talking about amputating his limbs and shit. So of course that's just another crazy ass news to hear and shit. And he ain't even up through all this. He's out. He's out. He's in a coma. So they end up making the choice. I'm not sure if it was the doctor or his pops or whatever, but they made the choice because he was getting infections in the limbs. So they end up making the choice to amputate. So they amputated his arm, they amputated his leg. It was just crazy, man. And I knew like, damn, my nigga don't want to wake up like this. You know what I'm saying? So time goes on. Eventually he wake up. You know what I'm saying? He wake up, and at first he of course he wasn't himself. He didn't know what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like he forgot like a lot of shit. It was a process. So the first couple, I would even say the first couple years, because it was a years process. You know what I'm saying? This shit ain't no 2 months and you good. This shit was years of process. So the first few years, I know it was real tough on him. I would go see him because he stood at the hospital for years, bro. I'm telling you. So I would go check him, and um, I could tell like he was like in a real depressive state. You know what I'm saying? So it was really, I'm not gonna lie, like it was hard to even be around him. You know what I'm saying? Like for my own selfish ways, I guess, because the way I felt. And that's crazy because, you know, I don't know if y'all can understand, but it's a horrible feeling to see your friend like that. You know what I'm saying? But then imagine what he's feeling, like so so yeah, so I'm like, man, I'm starting to think like, man, my man's never gonna bounce back. You know what I'm saying? Because now he's depressed and shit too. So he wasn't really rehabbing, he wasn't trying to do none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So eventually, I don't know what sparked like, in him, but something sparked and he said, man, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do what I gotta do. So he started getting busy. He started going to he started doing his therapy shit, started taking that shit more serious. And yo, long story short, my son got his own crib right now. He stands up and shit on his own. Of course, he still needs help for shit, but bro, my man got a car. He drives himself. You feel me? He learned how to drive again and shit. Like, bro, if that shit ain't like a super comeback story, I don't know what is, man. So so I just want to tell my man, yo, I'm super proud of you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And you came a long way, my G. You came a long way, and I'm proud of you. And I'm gonna link I'm gonna link his channel and shit because he got a real dope, like a little mini documentary joint where you could see his progress throughout the years. So I'm gonna link it probably in the description. I'm not sure if I even know how to do it, but I'm gonna try to do that shit. And eventually, when my channel gets where I want it to get, when I'm starting to bring people on, he's definitely coming on, so I could let him tell the story, from his end, because I'm telling it from my point of view. You feel me? So I want to get him to tell the story from his point of view, and and what he went through and how he felt and shit like that. So yeah, man. I hope y'all like the story. I know it's not a story to like that type of story, like where you liked it, but y'all know what I mean. I hope y'all, hope y'all like the content. Cause it is a really good ending, you know what I'm saying? My man came back from some horrible shit, So yeah, man. Like I always say, be back very soon, and I love y'all, man. One.